Yo, what is going on, beautiful people? Good morning, afternoon, and night, depending on when and where you're watching this, man. I hope everyone's having a great day, and if not, that's the beauty of having another set of 24 hours to change your situation if you don't like it. You know how we do that? Same way that we walk. One foot in front of the other, taking life one step at a time. So my last video, I told you guys I would be going over everything that it takes to own this car on a month-to-month basis, financially that is. So today we're gonna speak about my car payments, my insurance payment, all of that stuff, and how much it costs to be able to own this car here. Also take that with a grain of salt because I do live in a different country. So in Italy, it is gonna be a little bit more expensive, but aside from that, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me put this seatbelt on real quick. Now we safe to do business. So I initially had a Mustang. It was a 2019 Mustang GT. It was brand new, straight off the lot, no miles on it. I mean, it was flawless. I ended up overpaying for that because before I had that Mustang, I had a V6 Charger. In my opinion, I very much so overpaid for the V6 Charger, and I put like 40,000 miles on that car in like 2 years, dude. It was absolutely terrible. So to say that that car depreciated is an understatement. Like 2 years later, I was fighting tooth and nail to get like 15,000 back for the car. And of course, I still owed like 20 something on it. So when I bought my Mustang, of course I had to take a lot of negative equity into the Mustang. I ended up paying close to the almost 42. Even though the dealership really only wanted like 34, I ended up overpaying for the Mustang almost 8 to 10 grand. But it wasn't all bad because that Mustang actually ended up holding its value like crazy. When I got rid of that Mustang 5 years later, it still had the same tires on it that were on the car when I got it off the dealership lot like 5 years prior. I sold the car in 2024. The week that I traded it in, it had like 46,000 miles. So if you think about it, if I bought it for 34 and then I traded in for like right at 30 almost, that means that the car only depreciated roughly like $1,000 a year for the amount of time that I had it. So with that, I took the car to get appraised. Since I'm overseas, the entire buying and selling process is a lot different. It ended up taking me like a month to get the car. So I sold my Mustang like 2 weeks before I even got this car. So initially when I saw the car, they wanted like 70,000 for it. And I was like, dude, you're talking Hellcat prices. Absolutely not. So I didn't get it. I walked away from the car. I was just like, you know what? There's a better man than me out there somewhere. Maybe he'll buy it. So I ended up going to an amusement park about 2 hours away. And when I went there, I actually saw this car on a dealer lot. And I was like, is that the same car? I can't really tell. So about a week later, the car was just really on my mind. I just couldn't let it go. And I was like, man, you know what? I call up the people. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I wanted to know if you guys still had this car for sale. You know, I saw it on a lot, such and such. And they were like, yeah, you know, we never sold it here. So we moved it to a different lot. And I'm like, so they couldn't sell it. I knew for a fact since they couldn't sell it, they were going to be able to have a little bit of leeway on it. So the guy ended up telling me like, yeah, you know, we'll do like 3,000 off. And I just kept telling them like, I'm gonna need like a little bit extra. So they wanted, like I say, 69,000 and some change, so close to 70. So he was like, you know, we'll do like 2,000 off here and another 35 off here. So he ends up coming down like 5,500. They ended up coming off the car like an even 6 grand. And I'm like, man, I feel like I can work my move a little bit. So he was like, how much do you owe on your Mustang? Stuff like that. I didn't really want to tell him. And I was just like, hey, look, what's the best number you can give me? The guy comes back. Mind you, I only owe like high teens, maybe right at 20 on my Mustang. Guy comes back and tells me pretty much like 29. He either tells me like 28 or 29. And I'm like, dang. So of course, with all of that positive equity into the car, I can put that as a huge down payment onto this. So out of the gate, I end up financing this car for only like 52,000, I think. So 52,000. So I pretty much end up getting a $70,000 car for like 52,000. So after that, I ended up financing it through a credit union. So mind you, I ended up running my credit because I thought I was gonna get ready to buy a house. So my credit score took a small little dip, but it wasn't that bad. My credit score was still, I wanna say it was around 800, give or take like 10, 15 points. I feel like had I not run my credit to buy the house, then my credit score would have been at 800. So I ended up financing my car through a credit union. I believe my APR is like 5 or 6%, which isn't amazing. I guess with the way that the market is right now, that's not absolutely terrible, but it just kind of is what it is. So my payments per month on the car are $800 even. Now, in my opinion, that's not really bad and it's more than doable just for my situation. Now, my insurance is the kicker. Back in America, for my Mustang and my wife's car, she had a Nissan Altima. For both of those cars, my insurance per month was only $160. My insurance was only $160. Mind you, I don't have any infractions on my record, no speeding tickets, no wrecks, nothing, knock on wood. I'm a pretty decent driver. All of my cars, I drive super slow. I had my Mustang for about 5 years. That car went over 100 miles an hour like 4 times, and twice I wasn't even the one driving it when it happened. So what does that tell you? Obviously, I drive slow. Now, why do I get these cars like this just to drive slow? I have no idea. That's the reality of the situation. I just drive slow. Anyway, for whatever reason, the insurance policy that you have here is so high. Back in America, I think my insurance policy covered like 400,000 to like 500,000, somewhere in there. Here, the insurance policy covers like 1.2, 1.3 million euro. And if you have a new car, that is the standard. They make you have a policy that covers that much. Why? I have no idea. 2 cars in America, right? Fully insured, $160. This car alone is costing me like 300 plus. So between this and my wife's car, I'm paying like $400 a month in insurance. Now, if I were to go back to America, this car and another car still be under 200 bucks. But right now, I'm paying like $400 a month in insurance. That's not just because of this car. That's just an Italian thing. That's just a European thing. I don't know why. Back when I had my Mustang, since it was technically more of a sports car, because it was a 2-door sports car, I was paying like closer to $450 a month. So my insurance actually went down like 50 bucks. I see why a lot of people don't own sports cars in Europe, because the insurance will just kill you. Just between my insurance and my monthly payment, we're already at like $1,200. We haven't even gotten into the kicker, which is the cost of gas. So I fill this car up about every 2 weeks. Mind you, gas here goes off liters and not gallons. How many liters are in a gallon?
1 US gallon is 3.79 liters.
So there you have it. About every 1 US gallon is about roughly 4 liters. So that means I'm paying for the gas here based off liters. I want to say that the cost of 1 liter of gas is going to cost you about $2. So if you do that, for every 1 US gallon at $4, to get 1 gallon of gas here is like almost $8. So I'm paying almost twice as much. No exaggeration. I let my car get all the way down to empty. I mean, like the gas hand was like almost past the E. I went to the gas station and filled up. It cost me 140 plus euro, which after you do the conversion is almost like 150 plus US dollars. I actually put the video on my TikTok if you guys want to go check it out. Can you imagine filling up once every 2 weeks and paying $300 for gas? So at that point, $800 for the car payment, $400 in insurance, and $300 in gas. That's like $1,500. We hadn't gotten the oil changes. To get my oil changed here is like $140. Dude, you guys think I'm lying? Owning this car over here is a lot more expensive than it would be owning it in the States. My gas will be a lot cheaper. My insurance will for sure be a lot cheaper. And the oil changes will be like little to nothing. I don't know, man. If you want to own one of these cars and you're living overseas, I would definitely say tread lightly. Now, once again, that is just my current situation. I know that that's going to look different for everybody. I'm just telling you what I pay because I live overseas. Thank the Lord, I make more than enough to offset that cost, so I'm not really too much worried about it. I'm not going broke behind the car, and I knew what I was getting into before I purchased the car, so it's really not that bad of a situation. But for some people, they won't really be able to swing that. Can you really afford to drive the car? You don't want to be out here driving like Miss Daisy because you're scared of anything happening because you don't make enough money to actually cover any damages. But also, if you're going to be driving it, if it's going to be your everyday car, you want to make sure that you have enough to be able to fill it up also often, you know, be able to take the car out, actually enjoy it, things of that nature. Tax, title, license, and fees and everything, $52,000 straight out of the door. I think that's pretty good, coming from $70,000 at least. Some people probably think not so much. Some people think, well, that's like what a SCATPACK should be. Some people think high 40s. I don't know, man. Nowadays, with the way that the dealerships are, I feel like getting a car for almost $20,000 off what it was sticker price, I feel like I won. But I truly appreciate you guys sticking around. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, share the video with someone, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.